With Dreamworks The Bad Guys 2 in the works,
Where's my flowers? Prego, cappuccino.
it's time to take a close look at the original film about furry criminals to see where they stack up on the morality spectrum. This is Dreamworks The Bad Guys Good to Evil. And as always, we're going to be starting with our most morally upstanding and heroic characters before working our way down to the most wicked. These characters are the good, or perhaps we should just say character, since only one character managed to make it into this tier, that being the governor, Diane Foxington, aka the Crimson Paw. Although formerly an infamous thief, Diane proves herself to be a shining example of a so-called bad guy being able to change their ways. Unfortunately, even Diane has her doubts about the bad guys at first, despite her own past, leading to her acting pretty frosty towards them and their so-called reformation.
Burglary, mayhem, assault with a deadly reptile?
That said, when Mr. Wolf shows that he genuinely wants to change, she starts becoming nicer towards him and ends up becoming his biggest supporter in his redemption. She also saves all of the bad guys while they're in prison and assists in saving the day, and was even willing to sacrifice her new life just so the bad guys wouldn't have to go to jail. When it comes to her own past, we have to admire her for choosing to help others without any prompting from anyone else. That all being said, Diane is not perfect. She can still be a bit snarky and insulting at times, and even kept one of the diamonds she stole as the Crimson Paw, seeing it as a sentimental item. Still, she manages to stand out as the most good character in this film, if only because the rest of the cast isn't quite so moral. Which brings us to our biggest section in this video, the gray area, featuring characters who may be seen as bad but really aren't that bad. And first up is arguably the main character of the film, Mr. Wolf. Wolf is the team leader of his gang, being both the plan guy as well as an expert pickpocketer. But while he may claim to be the big bad wolf, he's actually the first of the bad guys to go good. Sure, he originally saw their redemption as a cover story for another robbery, which, isn't great. But once he starts getting a taste of what being good is like, this eventually leads to him failing to finish their heist at the Gaia, being unable to betray the newfound trust and respect he now had. Wolf even tells Diane where she can find the bad guy's hideout and stolen loot, though admittedly he did this without the other bad guy's knowledge, leading to it feeling like a total betrayal from their perspective. When it comes to his species, Wolf can be a mix of both good and bad stereotypes. Naturally, as a thief, he can be snarky and often tries to use his charm to his advantage. He can also be violent, such as in the moment where he learns the truth about Marmalade. However, Wolf can also be brave, determined, protective, and loyal, especially to his friends, even Snake, who he never gave up on, always believing that he could be good even after their falling out. He also saved Snake's life in the film's climax. All in all, he is someone who genuinely wants to be good despite all of his faults. With that said, we do have to award him several Sinner medals. We're giving Wolf the Greed Sinner medal. While he eventually grows past this, he has some pretty sticky fingers, as we constantly see him swiping jewelry and wallets. And he also puts his team in danger at the beginning of the film because he wanted a longer car chase. We're also awarding him the Envy Sinner medal. While it was implied that all of the bad guys wished to not be seen as monsters, Wolf was the one who desired it the most, even to the point of being subtly jealous about Diane's approval from the public. Moving on to Police Chief Misty Luggins. Being the chief of police, her main goal throughout the film is to put the bad guys away for good.
Keep running, Wolf! One of these days your luck is gonna run out!
She has quite a bit of temper and can even be seen as a bit crazy at times, being willing to take comically huge risks to catch them. She definitely earns the Wrath medal. Throughout the film, her only goal is to capture the bad guys, with her anger and hatred of them being pretty palpable. She hates the bad guys so much that even when they're framed for theft, she arrests them outright without giving them a chance to defend themselves, and is absolutely thrilled that she can finally throw them in jail. So yeah, she definitely serves as an antagonist, hence why we can't place her in the good tier even if she's technically a quote good guy. But we will acknowledge that she's a dedicated officer who's just trying to enforce the law, trying her best to stop crime. We suppose we can't really blame her for being so over the top about it. And additionally, she does arrest Marmalade at the end of the film, so we'll give her a couple bonus points for that. Next up is the 8-legged hacker, Miss Tarantula. She's an expert hacker, able to outsmart pretty much any security measure, even security systems that are specifically designed to counter her.
Boys, it's dolphin season.
Sometimes her hacking can cause more than a little damage, especially when she's messing with traffic lights, but you can't say her skills aren't useful. In fact, she's an incredibly strong member of the team, despite her tiny size. As for her morality and personality, though she can sometimes have a bit of a sharp tongue, often being more than a little snarky whenever she teases the rest of the gang, she's still also pretty chill. We even see her become quick friends with Diane, the two of them being two of the most focused members in the group, and it's kinda sweet to see. We also see Miss Tarantula take the time to order Mr. Snake a cake for his birthday, and even if he doesn't like his birthday, it was still a very sweet gesture. Next is the master of disguise, Mr. Shark. Given that he's an actor that tends to go over the top with his distractions and performances,
Hi, it's me. I was the construction worker.
it shouldn't be a surprise that Mr. Shark is usually the most emotional of the group. That's not to say he can't still be on his A game, as we see him help out when the gang gets in a jam during the film's first Golden Dolphin heist. Though usually a gentle giant, he does have his limitations, like when Snake refuses to share his push pop, leading to Shark actually eating Snake, which is definitely one way to get some petty revenge. Outside of these moments though, Shark is probably right up there with Wolf when it comes to being one of the more nice members of the gang, even if he can sometimes be fairly destructive too. From the distraction to the muscle, we have Mr. Piranha up next. Don't let his size fool you, Mr. Piranha more than earns the title of the muscle thanks to his anger and eagerness to not just fight, but also his love of beating people up in general. In fact, he's seen as the most unhinged and actively violent member of the gang.
Santo cielo, that's a lot of popo!
Though maybe that's not too surprising, given that he's a piranha and all. Violent tendencies and anger issues aside, Mr. Piranha does have his moments of being more than just a brawler. He's adorable at times, either when he's being a bit more cheerful, or even in some of his more anxious moments. And much like the rest of the bad guys, he also cares deeply about the rest of the gang, and that counts for something. Now, nearing the end of this section, we have the sarcastic Mr. Snake. Being the safecracker, second in command and literal snake of the team, Mr. Snake is probably the closest to being an actual bad guy. While the other bad guys can be very nice for a group of criminals, Mr. Snake often comes off as a bit of a jerk.
Sucker.
He's also extremely cynical and is often seen arguing with Wolf that all of them are beyond redemption. When it comes to their goodness exercises, Snake is the one who's barely trying, whether it's refusing to share or eating all the guinea pigs that they were supposed to save. Unsurprisingly, he earns the Gluttony Sinner Medal. I mean, the guy literally eats hundreds of guinea pigs, unable to stop himself from chowing down once he sees them. Still, Snake does genuinely care about his friends, even if he doesn't always show it, like when he finally shares a push pop with Mr. Shark, just to try and cheer him up. This is also seen through the film's big twist. After he eventually decides to ditch the gang, Snake uses this as an opportunity to team up with Marmalade. However, this partnership is revealed to be a huge lie, with Snake using his new partnership to try and sabotage Marmalade's scheme from within. This is ultimately what keeps Snake from the bad tier, even if he can still sometimes be the worst. And finishing off our gray area is the movie's news reporter, Tiffany Fluffit. Though a fairly minor character within the film, she does tend to cause just a bit of trouble for the bad guys through her less than stellar reporting, given that she tends to pop up whenever major events are happening. Nearly all of her reporting on the bad guys is slanted against them, making it even harder for them to be redeemed in the public eye.
And all stereotypes have been affirmed.
Even when she begins to praise their efforts, it doesn't take much for Tiffany to begin bad-mouthing them again. That said, when Marmalade is revealed to have the Zumpango diamond, Tiffany immediately turns on him, accusing him of being the Crimson Paw, broadcasting his ruined reputation to the entire city. So that is a positive. Though to be fair, this could be less about wanting to help bring Marmalade to justice, and more about being the one to report on a huge scoop. Either way, while she may not be outright malicious, Tiffany's attitude could potentially make her seem callous. And finally, we've arrived at our bad and evil section, where we only have one single character. But first, this video is brought to you by Wicked Binge channel memberships. You can gain access to our videos early before anyone else, plus get members-only emojis and loyalty badges by supporting the channel through a membership. Taking the bronze medal of evil by default is Professor Rupert Marmalade IV. Though originally seen as a kind-hearted philanthropist, Marmalade had planned on using the bad guys for his own means by the very beginning, and admits to not caring about anyone but himself. Marmalade can be extremely pompous and extremely smug, seeing himself as more clever than anyone else. We feel that Marmalade definitely earns the Pride Sinner Medal.
Look no further. Your hero has arrived.
Not only is he extremely prideful when it comes to his status, but he's also incredibly self-absorbed. This in turn leads to him also being manipulative, seeing the bad guys as a means to an end and having absolutely no regrets about betraying them, making him even worse than any of the bad guys in that Marmalade is willing to cross lines that the gang never would, like stealing from charity and attempting to murder people. This being seen when he kicks Snake out of his helicopter, or when he tries to kill Wolf and Diane. To sum it up, Marmalade is a villain through and through, having absolutely no good side to him whatsoever, which easily earns him the gold medal for most evil character in The Bad Guys.